What is up, good people? It's your girl, Nikki P. Welcome to another episode of Soul Untamed, where we are talking about creating a life that is designed by you and not for you. So today's topic, I will be talking about what does it actually cost you to not choose yourself? So this topic was very near and dear to me as a former people pleaser. I really needed to be reminded of some of the truth behind what it really costs you when you don't choose yourself. Now, I want to define it a little bit because I'm not talking about when you make certain sacrifices for people that you love, when you say yes to maybe like taking care of somebody versus doing something, for yourself, taking care of a child with special needs, taking care of an aging parent, helping a friend, even if it means that you shift something that you wanted to do so that you could help this friend. I'm not talking about that kind of like choosing for somebody else, choosing somebody else's desires over yours. What I'm talking about is when it becomes toxic. Toxic looks like people pleasing, like I said, former people pleaser over here. It looks like shrinking. It looks like, not wanting to rock the boat. So I'm just going to stay quiet, or just constantly putting yourself last. That's when it becomes a problem. The lie that most of us are taught is that self-sacrifice is valuable, and I feel like women get this more than men. Sorry, guys, y'all may have some debate about that, but as a woman, I feel like a lot of times we are made to feel like we have to sacrifice more. We have to sacrifice at our jobs more. We have to sacrifice in our homes more when we're caring for our children. Sometimes just your role. I am the oldest in my family, so I have been just expected to sacrifice things that I wanted to do so that my siblings could have, or whatever. So other first children, I know some of y'all out there feel me, like that's some of that kind of puts us in a position of always thinking that we have to choose ourselves last, or not choose ourselves at all, which is a lot of the time what it comes down to. But that's what we're conditioned to believe. That's not actually the truth. So here's the real cost of not choosing yourself. You have the physical aspect of it. You are tired all of the time because you're constantly running around to do something for somebody else. You overextend yourself. You stay at work later and you wind up working, instead of your typical 8-hour day, too long, in my opinion, by the way, but instead of 8 hours, you're doing 9, you're doing 10, you're doing 11, you're doing 12-hour days. And this is just the way that you work. Or in your family, you're responsible for gatherings, I don't know, family reunions, and you're always the one expected to do all the things at like holiday parties. You're the one that's expected to had to host the holidays. So you're running around and you're doing all these different things, and you don't stop to take care of yourself. You don't stop to rest. You don't stop to eat. You don't stop to hydrate yourself. So all of those things, you wear yourself out. And yes, there's the immediate effect of you being tired like right now, but then there's also the long-term effect of it takes years off your life. you know then you have the emotional cost. You are burnt out. This goes beyond a physical tired. You are burnt out. You literally have no more capacity emotionally, mentally. You're just literally going on autopilot. You are white. You are white. I actually recently, not to turn it dark, but this is important. I saw a story recently about a woman. I think she was from Atlanta. She was a chef, about 40, I think. I think she was 40 years old, and she was working crazy hours to run her restaurant. And every time, and she knew she needed rest, she knew she needed to lay down, but she's like, let me just do this thing, let me just do this, I gotta make sure the shop is running off the ground, and she just kept moving. And then when she finally decided to rest, and she even literally posted on her IG, like, all right, y'all, sister tired, I'm gonna go and rest now. She went to sleep and didn't get back up. 40. That is when it goes, that is a whole different level of burnout. So that's what I mean. But the cost of putting others above yourself all the time and not taking care of you, that is what that can lead to. There's also a financial cost when you shrink yourself, right? When you play small, when you are working in an environment and you don't speak up, you don't you do not make yourself known, when you shrink back so somebody else doesn't feel threatened by how smart you are or how talented you are, you lose out on a promotion, right? That is money in your pocket. In your personal business, when you undercharge because you don't choose yourself, you don't bet on you, you are losing money. Every time you get a client, because even though you're making money with that client, you're not charging what you should be charging. So you are losing money. So there's a financial cost to not choosing yourself. And the last one, which is the biggest one to me, is you lose your identity. You become so engrossed in living a life for everybody else that you disappear. You don't even know what you want. You don't even know who you are anymore, because you've become a chameleon for everybody else. And you don't even know. You don't know who you are. That is the biggest tragedy to me. The biggest truth that I wish that I knew from the very beginning is that choosing yourself is not selfish. It is actually sacred. For me, I remember a very distinct moment when I stopped becoming a people pleaser. And it was a moment where I had kind of an out of body experience. And I think the shock of really seeing myself and seeing what I was doing really kind of woke me up and was like, you can't go on like this. I have a friend who, her son was getting ready to go into I think it was the Coast Guard, National Guard, something. And he had to leave home. He had to go to training in a different state. And I remember that one day she called me and she was so distraught, because when you're training, like, now I don't know anything about military, really, like what it's like when you are in the Army, the Navy, or whatever, and you're like just getting started and you are actually being trained to serve, right? I don't know what that looks like. But apparently, you really don't have a lot of access to, taking phone calls or whatever, or at least this was the case for my nephew. And my girlfriend was so upset because he had written her a letter to tell her like what was going on. And I think he was having some dental issues or something. And she was in full mother mode. She was just so distraught when she called me, and she was like, when they won't let me talk to him on the phone, and my son is going through this and I can't help him. I need to talk to my son. I need to see my son. And I so badly wanted to make her feel better that I suggested that we drive down together to go. I think he was stationed in Georgia. Georgia's like 12 hours. And that's if you drive straight, 12 hours from me. Also not including traffic trying to go through Virginia. That's another story. But 12 hours driving. And I said to her, because I just wanted to make her feel better, well, let's just ride down and see him. Let's just go down for a weekend, not even counting the cost. And I swear, as I was saying this to her, My spirit literally left my body and was looking at me like, are you serious right now? You are talking about driving for how many hours straight? And you're talking about coming back in like 2 days, and you got to go to work, and just telling me all the reasons why this was not a good idea for me. But as the words were coming out my mouth, I couldn't even stop myself because I so badly wanted to make her feel better. And when I came out of that call, and I had to go back. This is probably one of the only times that I've reneged on something. After she had gotten so excited about us going down there, and she had even already written a letter to her son, I literally called her the next day. She had already told everybody what I was doing for her, and this, that, and the other. And I had to say to her that I can't do it. And listening to the disappointment of her, but also realizing how I was dishonoring myself because I was so busy trying to make her happy that I didn't think about what it was costing me, that I was like, I can't ever be in this situation again. I cannot ever be in this situation again. That's what really woke me up. And in learning how to choose myself in that moment, from that point on, every time I had to make a decision about something, I always take a moment to pause to make sure that this is something that is in alignment with me and makes sense. So that is what choosing myself now looks like. It looks like saying yes to opportunities that are aligned with who I am and protecting my boundaries, setting my boundaries, honoring them, and saying no to things that are out of alignment. When somebody asks me to do something, I always pause and reflect. I don't answer right away because even though I've been far removed from being a people pleaser, sometimes I really just genuinely want people to be happy. So if I answer right away, it might be just yes without me stopping to think, wait a minute, does this make sense for me? Does me doing this thing somehow keep me from being aligned with something else that is for me? So that is what choosing myself looks like now. And because I was able to do that just even in my relationships, I have been able to transfer that to every area of my life. When I go take on new clients now, I am given the choice. I take the choice and own the choice. Does this look right for me? Does this make sense for me? When I do things involving my family, I look at, does this make sense for me? Does this align with me? And when it doesn't, I say no unapologetically, because I know what the cost of not choosing myself actually looks like. So I'm saying all of this to say, if you are playing small in your life, stop it. If you are finding yourself jumping over hurdles and jumping through hoops to try to please somebody else when it doesn't align with who you are, stop it. Nobody benefits from you sacrificing yourself. By all means, be generous with your time, but choose your self-care. Take care of you. Do not sacrifice your self-care. Do not sacrifice things that are important to you, things that are in alignment with you, things that are part of your purpose, part of your very being. Do not sacrifice those things because the cost is too much. It is too much. So my challenge for you this week is identify an area where you may have been abandoning yourself. Identify one area and then take a small action to not abandon yourself. Where can you set boundaries? Where can you honor yourself more? Think about what the cost of not choosing yourself actually is in the long run and make the choice to choose you because you're worth it, boo. So that is it for this episode of Soul Untamed. If you liked what you heard, please give me a like. Please give me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. If you are a former people pleaser like me, let me know what your experience was, and let me know, like, what was that moment that you were like, nope, no more, can't do this. I would love to hear from you. Please subscribe if you want to see more content like this. If you want to see content or for other topics in the same vein, also leave me a comment and just tell me what you're thinking. I'm here for you. So that is it for today. Until next time, it's your girl, Nikki P. Have a good one.